is Jeff at Big Hairy Dog, and this is a webinar on Retail Pro promotions for V8 and V9. The promotions module is something that comes with Retail Pro. It installs automatically when you install the software, but it is also a third-party plugin. Essentially, that's the way Retail Pro designed it. So it's not, whereas it's installed, it's not fully installed. I guess that'd be the best way to put it, right? So we need to go look at what that means. So here's my agenda that I sort of typed up here. How do you turn this on? How do you install it? How do you make it work? What are the preferences that we care about? Then let's actually go through some of the promotions. And I noted there in the promotion section, of course, we'll look at V8 and V9 kind of side by side, but filtering, I put that in big letters because that is the key. That is absolutely the key to doing a good promotion, is understanding the filtering and how it works. And then, of course, how do you move these to multiple stores if you have multiple stores? So that's kind of where we are on the agenda. So let's talk about, and this is a little virtual machine. Everybody can see it, I hope, pretty well. All right, so, you know, V8, V9, it doesn't really matter which one we go to first, I guess. I guess I'll dive into V9 real fast. So there's a plugin folder, and there's a RPro Prom folder. And V8's a little different, but not much. And so we're going to look at both those, actually, and we might as well do it kind of together here, right? So let's just bring up another box and deal with it at the same time. Okay, V8, okay, so there's RPro Prom and there's plugins, right? So in the RPro Prom folder, and let's look at the view details. Okay, that's better a little bit. So in the RPro Prom folder here in V9. Okay, yeah, all right, perfect. So in V8, a program file, a plugin program file is a BPL file. That's the type of file that is a plugin for V8. Anyway, so that's a little program file right there. And in V9, it's a DLL and an MNF, a manifest file and dynamic link library. So these two, the DLL and the MNF for V9, or these three, now the BMPs are just pictures, right? That's just a little picture that goes on some button somewhere, right? That's all that is. But the BMPs and the BPL, or these two here, and this is all in the documentation, by the way, they need to be copied respectfully. So we'll just do this one first. I'm copied over here. So we copy these out of, we're going to leave them in there. They don't hurt anything in there, but copy them out of here and put them into the plugins folder. Paste. And they're probably already in there. Yeah, they are. All right. Replace. Fine. Good. All right. So I just put them in the plugins folder. Now that plugins folder is like the last thing that gets loaded when Retail Pro launches. The last thing it does is it goes, looks in the plugins folder, and it loads anything in the plugins folder as the last thing it does. So if you have a Retail Pro open and you drop these in there, it's not going to work, right? You need to back out of Retail Pro and reload it. It's not going to see anything you do in that promotions thing. So the same here for V8. We copy these out of the RPro Prom folder. We go put them in the plugins folder, paste, and of course they're already in there as well because I might have done this before once or twice, right? So that puts them in there, makes it available for you to use. That's what it does. Now, the promotion module itself. So that is the promotions module, and I kind of like what they did here in V9. They put the executable in the RPro promotions folder. Makes sense to me. In V8, they were probably not quite as cool, but they still accomplished their task. It's in the Retail Pro folder. So RPro promotions. Okay, I find the folder. Nice. All right, so there's the executable there. So obviously you probably want to pull like a shortcut, you know what I mean? To each of those. make it easy on yourself, right? First up. So we'll go ahead and launch now. In V9, I do need to mention this, so I will. In V9, the first time you launch this, it's wise to go in and do this little thing here. On your shortcut, you put a / fix, F-I-X-D-B. So fix DB, and then click apply and OK. Then run that. And then as soon as it's done, go take that off. That just sets the database up. So the first time you launch it, you really do need to put that little fix DB in and run it one time. And that kind of adjusts the database for some new features they added. I'm not sure. I don't believe you have to do that with V8 that I'm aware of. So we're going to go ahead and launch both these tools and sign into them. Just going to line them up here next to each other. And again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to pop in and ask them. I generally speaking unmute everybody unless you make a lot of noise and a lot of racket. I will leave you unmuted. So let's go ahead and launch this one. And we'll do a little compare and contrast, because oddly enough, they're surprisingly different as far as the promotions they offer, considering they were both written for the same software for different versions. You know, that's a little odd, but it is what it is, I guess, right? So, so that's what the tools look like when you open them up and take a look at them. Very similar, but a little different. They have a lot of similarities. Buy one, get one free, of course. BOGOs are in both. Quantity discounts are in both. But this one has like a gift thing here. There is a gift function, though, in the other one. Customer pricing on both sides, customer pricing and customer discounts, same feature. Coupons here, there's a coupon module. There is not, but almost all these have a coupon option, so you can make them be tied to a coupon. So it's kind of similar. All right, so let's take a look at preferences. So let's pop into preferences and take a look at preferences real fast, side by side, I guess. Right, so V8 is really stripped down. They have not modified it much. You can have a password for manually discounting. You can decide what clearance items, what if there's a price point ending you want, and you can have it prompt if there are multiple promotions, and so you can choose which ones to apply. That's pretty much it on the V8 side. Pretty stripped down. V9, first and foremost, here at the top, you see that there's an enable button. So even though you put the plugins in, if you don't come in here and turn it on, you know, you're not going to pass go or collect $200. Now, there's some other important things in here. This little debug thing is a log. We don't need this. If you turn this on to any of these levels, it's going to log information about it. So if you're having trouble making it work, then I would use that and go look for the log. But I'd have to find it and tell you where it is. But most time I don't mess with that. You can usually make this thing work pretty easily without going through that level of pain. Now in V9, they sort of leave it up to you and how you want to configure it as far as some of these things go, like inventory field to use for storing the quantity discount weight. So if you want to have a weight on quantity discounts, what field do you want to put it in? Customer field to use for the customer pricing tool. So it defaults to info 1 or 2. You have to pick one of those. So if we make a customer price list and we call it VIP, and then we would go put a VIP in info 1, and that would attach that customer to that price list. That's how that sort of works. The field to use for excluding items from discounts and what to put in that field, right? The receipt item field to use for storing manual discounts, like item note 5 is fine. I mean, there's 10 item note fields, and I'm guessing most people don't use even one of them, so probably 5 is fine, right? Receipt field to use for storing manual discount, POS flag 3, or note field, probably 3. Price decimals 2, pretty straightforward. Apply and promotion discounts to item price versus original price. So what does that mean? That means This, we got into a bunch of big trouble with this one. If you're a off-price store and your posture is such that you sell things and they pop up on the receipt already showing a discount, right? Like you have an original price and you have a selling price and they're not the same. So it says, hey, this item is 10% off, this item is 17% off. And that's just the posture you have all the time. Then you have to apply the discount above and beyond that to the item price. So if you have a 20% discount and the promotion is giving them a 10% discount and you apply it to the original price, you're actually raising the price. So anyway, that's a tricky one. Depends on where you are. You know, if you're not a like discount sort of, like I used to work for Marshalls and everything's on sale at Marshalls all the time, right? It's off-price retailer. So we're sort of always on sale, but really not, you know what I mean? So for us, it would have been item price, but I think most people can stick with original price and be pretty safe. All right, so these down here, these get into how you want it to calculate the discount, and it's kind of important. So if you have nice, fast computers and nice, fast network, then you want to leave these unchecked down here, and it will calculate these discounts real time as you bring the product up. Now, every time you scan an item, it's going to pop a little box up and say, hey, I'm checking to see if they got a discount on that. And it's a split second. It's not painful, but FYI, it's going to slow you down, right? That's the thing. So if you're on a slow network and or you have some older hardware, maybe you want to disable this and say apply the discount, perform the promotion processing when the tender button is pressed. So ring, 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 all the items up. Click tender, boom, apply all the discounts, right? Right, and then warn if the thing's not applied. Fine, good. Yep. Ignore manually discounted items. I think that's probably a fine thing. We don't want to double dip. We don't want to apply a discount on a discount, right? Yeah, and if you're using a subtotal one, this is good, but most of the promotions you don't need to use a subtotal. There are a few that do. Well, the bottom one is out there. I have not actually used this feature yet, so I will have to research that one. I apologize for not being on the mark today. There are some other settings here, price levels, which one you want to affect, the discount order, so you can move these around, right? You can give priority to one promotion versus another one. You can schedule these things when to start and stop, and you can import, I guess, which I've not done any importing, by the way, of the rules. So I just wanted to give you a quick run through on those, and let's go look at some of these things. Yeah, great. All right, I guess we just go like this. Okay. If there's a problem that I've had with these, I'm going to point out that the problem typically is with filtering. So let's take something simple. Let's just take this promos here from Retail Pro 9. And let's actually just start fresh here. Let's not have one up there already, right? So clean screen. And let's see here. Well, maybe we should just do a compare and contrast. Let's do a BOGO because they both have BOGOs, right? So let's do, but there's a BOGO on both sides, and we would click either add by department or add global. I'm just going to go with department here. They set up a little bit different. I do like this little window right here. Insert. You don't get such a cool window in V9. So in V8, we decide what the master department class subclass is going to be, right? We give it a name. How many you have to buy, right? Buy one, get one at 50% off, right? And then we have to say what stores it applies to, select all, and the dates that it's going to run for, right? pretty simple, pretty straightforward. That's by department. The global would give us access to the items, and we could pick specific items if we want to go down that level. V9 is a little, on the screen is a little more awkward. The function's the same. And where I get in trouble here is on filtering. So I'm just going to go ahead and say BOGO, name here, boom, priority. So I'm going to say it's one priority. This gets into, again, if you have situations where more than one BOGO happens to affect the item, same item, which one gets priority. I would say the wise thing there would be to don't do that. That would be where I would go. But generally, I just assign everything level 1 priority unless I need to change that. Most of us, if you're in V9, only have one subsidiary, and then I have to pick all the stores one by one, which I don't have a select all, which is slightly annoying. So in here, what they did is they did this filter, this by filter. Now in V8, it's pretty straightforward. I get to pick the department, class, and subclass. Boom, set that up, get it going. In V9, I have to open this up, and I have to create a filter here for like department codes. So I would have to say, like, add, so this department code here equals, men's top, right? Add, or DCS equals men's pant. I don't know. You see where I'm going though. So if I'm doing it by department code, I've got to be very careful. I have not had good success using wildcards. I think you have to be very specific here. I just set this up for a client who just went live actually yesterday, and it's working extremely well. But what they did is they used an aux field, and they marked their items with an aux field that they wanted to be included in the BOGO. And that ended up being pretty simple to do. They just go, they have like 5 or 6 of these running simultaneously, and you can't mix. Obviously, these are like one per vendor. So if you're buying this vendor's products, you can get this buy 3 get 1 free type thing. And it's not mix and match between vendors, but it is a mix and match vertically within that vendor. I could buy some $25 items and some $19 items, and I'm going to get one of those free. It's probably going to be the cheaper one, but right. So that situation seems to be a little easier for me than going through and listing each of the department codes. But you can do it this way. You just have to be very careful when you're setting this filter up. This can be a real problem if you're not very careful. Then obviously buy 3, buy 1, something, right? Get filter is the same thing, so I would have to put the same criteria in there. So I think what we'll have to do is we'll have to say, let's back up here, cancel. Let's go back to here, and let's say that we're going to get rid of these, because we should actually test drive one of these, right, and see that it works. So we'll say auxiliary 1, add, and it say equals, and we'll say BOGO. And click OK on that, and we'll do the same thing, aux1 equals BOGO. Pretty exciting so far, right? Anybody have any questions? I don't see anything in the chat. Hopefully I'm not putting you guys to sleep. Get 1. And I'll apply once. In this case, I would say no. If they want to buy 3 and get 1 free, and they want to buy 3 more and get 1 free, and they want to buy, 30 more and you can get 10 free. I'm okay with that. Discount. So what do I want to do? Do I want to do a price of 0? Do I want a 100% discount? I don't think it matters. So I'm just going to say 100% discount. Start date is today. I can make the start time is fine. Who cares? That's great. End date can be whatever we want to be. So here, when we're doing this, which one are we getting free? Are we getting the lowest priced item for free? are we getting the highest priced item for free, which probably isn't the case, or are we doing it what's called optimized? So if they bought 8 items, then it would take the top 4 and optimize that to give you the right one free, and then it would take the next group and try to optimize it out to give you the right one for free. So I think I'm gonna click optimize and play with that. Coupon code. We can apply a coupon code to this. Then to activate this, you'd have to have the coupon code. So they would have to bring the coupon in, and we would have to key it in or scan it into the coupon field. If you're in V9, you have to add that little table. There's a table you have to add to the receipt screen to do that, which I'm not going to mess with. Discount BOGO. I probably add a discount reason in there. I'm just going to say sale for now. We're not using the subtotal, and there is no threshold, so I'm going to leave that alone and click Save. And let's go back around to this one here. Let's see, cancel. Let's see, global. All right, so I'm going to say items 11 and 12, 13, 14. Right, I'm just going to pick something that's easy for us to deal with, right? Oh, a name for promotion. Yeah, right, fine. Got a little excited there, didn't I? Okay, stores, select all, buy 3, get 1, discount 100%. All right, perfect. So, okay, and all right. So let's close this, and let's close this. And let's go check these out, right? So see if I screwed this up. All right, so we'll get V9 and V8 launched here. Again, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask them. Yeah, and V8, I have not got a license on here, so that might be interesting. Let's see what happens there exactly. It may not want to run for me, V8. Right, so in V9, we need an aux1 field. And what is aux1? Excellent. Options, system preferences. So under local merchandise auxiliary fields, our aux1 field is actually called material. Nice. So okay, there's aux1. And we'll just take these first few items here, and we will change them to say BOGO. That ought to be enough, right? Okay, so we'll grab those things there. We'll write them down real fast so we know what we're doing and export them out. There we go. So we've got them written down, and I think we should be in good shape. Let's go try it. And I could fall on my face. Don't laugh if I do. Be kind. Okay, hold on a second. Let's see here. All right, so what I'm not seeing here is I'm not seeing that little promotions window pop up. So I suspect it's not working yet. I think I missed something somewhere. But it should pop a little box up right there that says it's evaluating the promotions as we go. Now, that hasn't qualified yet, but this would be the point when it would qualify, and I suspect it's not working yet. So somewhere I missed some small detail in V9. And yep.
You had everything checked in your Retail Pro 9, so your box is not going to show up until you hit tender. That's when your promo is going to show up.
Oh, thank you. Oh, very good.
Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. Thanks for having my back, Kathy.
You're
very
welcome.
Good eyes too, by the way. So, all right, let's find out then. So you're right. I did check those off, and I think I meant to uncheck those, but I did not. So that would be a user error there, wouldn't it? So let's see if Kathy is right. She probably is, by the way. Right, so, okay, I got to type it in correctly, don't I? Okay, so then if I had those things checked off when I click tender, it should now read the promotions. Let's go back and see what it did. And no, I think I still screwed up something else because it still did not discount that one item. So why is it not
Sorry, maybe that wasn't the problem.
No, it's excellent observation though, and we're going to go back and look right now and see if I screwed that up. So, really wise thing to do is if you're having problems, and you will have problems with these tools, exit Retail Pro, go back, relaunch. So what I found is that these tools, if you leave them open, they hold open the database, and the database doesn't always load. It does sometimes it doesn't. So I make it a habit to always exit the tool, try it out, and then if it doesn't work, I exit RPro because I want it to reload the promotions database. So if you modify, you got to get it to reload, right? That's just how it is. All right, so let's check our preferences, by the way, the good call, and you are correct. So let's just undo all these because I don't really want those checked. Excellent, by the way, thank you. And let's see here. I see. Maybe that's the problem. That could be the problem. All right, so this is a really nuanced thing, but here it says aux1 has to equal BOGO, right, and BOGO here, but they're all caps. So let's see if that maybe is contributing to our little problem here. I think I did not type them in that way, but they might have switched. We'll go and take a look. But that's why I said in my outline at the beginning, I said it's really all about filtering with these tools and getting the rule in there and getting it tested and make sure it's working exactly the way you want to do it, and then push it to the stores. That's so let's go back to inventory and let's slide over and see what I did. And so now see I have uppers and lowers, and I think it's all uppers. So we're going to change it to all uppers, I think. Maybe not. Okay, we're going to change it. Okay, so let's just do this. But they are very, I will say they're very sensitive. So we're going to loop around now. Now that auxiliary field, right, is defined in system preferences. And whereas in V9, if you have admin rights, you can add things on the fly. You cannot delete them on the fly, right? So if I want to get rid of that in this field here, I've got to go out here and get rid of it, like more formally. And it can't be being used. If it's being referenced by any item, that won't work right there. That'll stop you. Now I can say BOGO, right? So now I put it in with all caps. Let's update that. Let's go back around to inventory. Now my preferences hopefully are set correctly. Hopefully my fields are set correctly. But this is actually, every time I do this, this is exactly what happens. Now, like I said, I just rolled this out in the store chain that went live yesterday, and they love it. I mean, their previous software did not have the ability to just have a simple promotion like this, and they had to set up really complicated rules that only things that were $3.99 could buy 3 and get 1 free, and it was a real pain, I guess. And so this has just been like a godsend for them. Okay, I got to type it in correctly. Oh yeah, all right. Okay, I'm still not seeing it pop up. Did we not get it turned on right or something? It should be checking. It should be popping up every time we do one of these. So our DLLs are in fact in our plugins folder. Right, our ProProm and the M&F should be in there too. Okay, I thought I got that one safely copied in, but apparently I did not. That might have had something to do with it, right? Okay, fair enough. Always good to dot the I's and cross the T's. Now, I'm pretty sure that we did get it turned on, but now I'm feeling like I need to check. So, yes, it's enabled, and the things on the bottom are not checked. So, good. We're saved. We'll get out of here. Loop back around, see if we can get this thing to work the way it's supposed to. Now, there have been, I'm just going to mention this, I'm not going to show you, but there have been a few cases where we've had to use the SQL shell in V9 to go out and mark a field using an update statement to speed the process up. And we can do that if we know of a certain filter criteria that we can use. Okay, so in the middle of my screen over here by the tender button, you'll see it flash up real fast. So I'm going to press enter right now, and you'll see a little box that pops up when I do that. So that's the promotions tool evaluating whether or not we qualify, right? So this one here should qualify. So it hangs for a second and takes a discount. Buy 3, get 1 free. So, you know, it's amazing if you install it correctly and set it up correctly, it actually works. Right, so let's see about this one here. POS, now the problem is warning, inventory quantities will be received. This is, I'm on a demo copy here. So it may not work. I could go find a license and apply it, but I don't know if we want to take the time to do that. If anybody really feels like they need to, I could do that. I usually run a demo on this particular virtual machine. All right, that item there. Oh, I'd say it worked. It looks like that it does not need the license installed to work. So it did the same thing though, and it was really quite simple. So in this case here, I picked the items myself. I just tagged the items that I wanted to be part of this promotion, which is pretty easy, a little tedious. But so you see the V9 one is a little bit more expanded. It gives you more fields to filter by. The V8 one that gives you the department, I think, and the vendor, or makes you pick the items. But they both actually work. So, all right, so let's kind of buzz through what the other promotions are and how they're supposed to work and why you might use them, and see if you guys have any questions about any of them. or if you have any scenarios you'd like to set up, maybe we could even try and set something up. You know what I mean? That's where you benefit the most. Is theory is all well and fine, but you know, the rubber's got to hit the road at some point, right? All right, so the first promotion in both these is the customer discounts or customer pricing, however you want to call it. Basically what that amounts to is a list of items. If I'm not mistaken here, right, promo class, right. So you have to set a promo class, and you have to, there's a field in V8 that's called promo class. You have to add it to your screen design. So in V8, they have a field that they give to you that is for this function. So whatever you add into here, you have to and I am not 100% sure how you get promo classes in there. Not in preferences here, right? No, not in preferences. So, no, combine, promo class, none. All right, now I have to go back and look in here, don't I? Discard. Customers. Form view. Right, promo class. Oh, right, okay, hang on. It's all coming back to me now. I might be a little old and decrepit, but I'm not there yet. Let's see. Right. So here's your promo classes right there. So in V8, they give you a system preference and a field. In V9, they let you just make it up on the fly, and then you have to point it towards one of your info one fields. But they both do the same thing. So let's just keep it simple and we'll just call it VIP, right? So let's call it a VIP, and the default will be VIP. And if we then go out to POS customers, form view, edits, I should be able to select that VIP and attach that whole level. Whatever I do in that VIP thing now will be available for that customer, right? So, okay, minimize that. And if I now say add global, I should have promo class. Yeah, I got to relaunch the tool to even see that. Nice. So I'm getting sucked into all the minutiae here, but what's the purpose of this customer pricing function? You can do price levels right now in Retail Pro, right? I could have a price level for my employees, and I could have a different price for every item, and I could attach that price level to the customer database record, and when they buy things, they would get the price that I put in that price level, right? However, with a price level, you have to populate a price for every item, right? With these customer pricing or customer discounts, you don't. So let's see. Yep, so VIP is there now. So now I can say, you know, price list or whatever. Discount 10, first use, purchase, total. I can have a threshold. Oh, Name cannot contain. Nice. Okay, how's that? All right, so this is more like a rule that gives you a discount, whereas this one, I believe, here, so you can see when I set up here, I used a VIP and I actually grabbed some items, and in the items, you can actually put the price. So you could actually say that they get this one for 55 and they get this one here for 52 or whatever. I could have different items in here and I could have different specific prices. So you can also have it be a discount. Like this is set for price, right? So this one here lets you have, again, V9, they wrote V8 first probably, and then they expanded V9 when they wrote V9. But V9 lets you actually go out and select items. So you can actually go down here and say insert, and that actually gives me a new one. I don't want new one, do a new one. I want to choose edit items, right? It lets you go out and look in the database, right, and actually pick items out here. So I could go and find a given item. I already got that item in there. Let's skip down. I could find an item that's out here, and I could type in whatever price I want to give it, and that'll add that to my list. So this is a little bit more powerful in that respect. Now, if an item is being purchased by this customer and it's not on the list, then it's just being sold at the price that it is for everybody else, right? That's what the deal is. All right, does that kind of make sense so far? I mean, I want to go deep enough to make sure that we understand it, but I don't want to spend like all the time on one promotion per se and put everybody to sleep. Now, this promotions module here in V9, I like this a lot. I think this is a very powerful version. This one here, we insert one of these, give it a name. It's basically a discounting function, and it's pretty sweet, pretty simple. All these fields are the same as we did before, so I'm just going to buzz through these pretty fast. And you've already seen these. We don't need to rehash all that. Discount includes, again, here's your filter, right? So you've got to be able to say what this discount includes, and sometimes using a mark like that, again, is the wise choice to go with, because that's a solid thing. Start date, end date, again, not rocket science there, right? What I like about this one is right about coming up now. So discount type, I like that right there. So percentage, amount, or price. So I can say you get these for a price. I can say you get $5 off these things, or I can say you get 10% off these things that I'm filtering for, right? That's what I like about this tool right there. So I could say it's a discount percent and it's 15, right? I can say whether you can combine it with the quantity discount function or not. And I can say which price levels to affect. Probably most of us are only using one price level anyway, but you could affect them all if you want. And then you can decide whether this is at the item level or the document level, and usually it's at the item level. I have used the document level thing once, but most of the time it's these group of items are on sale for the weekend for 15% off or something, right? That's what most of them do. You need a reason code. It's good to have a reason code. And, really you can go into your system preferences and add appropriate reason codes for tracking of these things. And again, schedule and coupon, right? So you can make it so they have to present a coupon and you have to key the coupon code in to activate the appropriate promotion. So that's the promos module there in V9. Now the coupon thing over here is, I think, pretty similar, if I'm not mistaken. Right, so we give it a name, we give it a coupon ID. We can have a promo class. I don't think one is required. It doesn't necessarily have to be a customer that has a promo class. It could be open for everybody. And we'll find out here in a minute, right? We'll just call it discount. We'll give it a coupon code of that, and we'll leave that off. That dates look fine. Percentage, amount 10. and no gift or combine. Not really interested in that stuff. All stores, select all, okay. Gotcha. So then we'll go pick on our items again. So here at the top, I can say specific items. I can say only clearance items with a certain price point, right? Or I could say any item, everybody, right? So I'm going to say specific. I'm going to put my, actually I probably should pick some different items because the BOGO is still turned on, isn't it? 16, 15, 16. So we'll do the 15 through 18 ones there. Click OK. And okay, so let's close this out and close Retail Pro out again. In order to load the new promotion, it has to reread the promotions module, which means it has to reload the plugin, correct? Which makes it slightly annoying to test these things. See, that did not take effect, did it? The other one worked first try right out of the chute, but I think I screwed something up on that one because it's not applying immediately. But again, that's what I find with these tools, both these tools, that you have to go out and play around with these things and find the exact way to accomplish the task you're trying to accomplish. Oh, wait a second. I know what's wrong. So, Kathy, where are you? You didn't have my back on that one.
No. Sorry, I only know the V9 version. I don't know V8.
So, in V8 and V9, let's just take a quick look here at both these situations here, addressing specifically the coupon thing. So, what I screwed up is I didn't put the coupon code in, right? That's what I screwed up. So let's see, 15, 16, 17, 18, and let's try. And we get a discount. I'm not sure if that's what I intended, but it discounted the most expensive one. You know, I could go out and play with that if I wanted to. But this coupon field here, if I float the mouse over it, you see it's not actually called coupon. It's called tracking number. So that field is intended to be the UPS tracking number if you were to go back and re-input a UPS tracking number into a former receipt, right? So there are integrations for shipping that do write tracking numbers to that field. So if you're using an integration for shipping, that's kind of awkward if you want to use coupons. In V9, cancel, that's another oddity about V9. You can't edit the screen while you're in an active transaction. Okay, so in V9 there is a more complicated field we use for coupons, and it is not a field, it is a box. So it's an entire little table, right? So in V9 you could scan it into here, right? If we had a coupon, we don't have a coupon number, but we could type it in there or scan it into there. Then we could down arrow and we could use another one, right? We could use 3 or 4 coupons on one transaction. So they really did do it right in V9 as far as that goes. Excellent. All right. Feeling better. I do feel like every time you attack this thing, though, it's a bit of a learning process. Even though I do them all the time, I still bump into little things where I didn't get a rule quite right. All right. So in regular Retail Pro, there is something called a promo discount schedule that exists in inventory that allows us to set up like schedules, like if you buy 3 of them, you get them for a unit price of $3.33. So basically, buy 3 for $9.99, right? Or they're $4 each. Unless you buy 3, then they're $9.99. What you can't do with that is you can't say there's 3 of them for $10, right? You have to say that the unit price is $3.33, so it adds up to $9.99. Whereas the quantity discount module in both these will let you specify the price. So you can say the amount, the actual amount that you want to sell them for, and it'll figure out how to do a 333, a 333, and a 334 if you want to sell 3 for $10. So that's really the biggest difference here with the quantity discount functionality, I guess. Right, see, so here, again, we could say what the name is. We get to say, I can't type today, we get to say what the price is, right? So I could say the price is $10. And the required quantity could be 3, right, boom. Or I could do the price point. So that's a nice thing. So I could say that when you get to 3, the price point becomes, or I could say the total price is. So it's a little bit more powerful, a little bit more flexible quantity discounting function. And you can do the global where you tag the items yourself manually, cancel, or you can do it by department code if you prefer. And of course, V9 is really similar to everything else we've set up thus far, right? All these fields are the same. Again, you get, please say we're cancel. Okay, it's angry. It's angry at me for having whatever the other one open. So we'll just close it and open it up again because I'm moving a little faster than it likes, probably, more than likely. Right, so yeah, right. So there I'm using a department code, but again, I could use any field, and I have found much better experience like using an aux field. Now, you could also use description 3 and 4. Earlier I mentioned that we could write a mark to a field using the SQL update statement, which we're not going to go into on this webinar, but we will at some point, I suspect. These fields here are part of the master inventory table, right? So they're just right there in the inventory file, where these are not. These are in an adjacent table. They're tied by the item set. It's complicated. I don't want to go into that. The point is that I don't see, for instance, I don't see vendor here, right? Which I think maybe an oversight. I don't know. They didn't put vendor here. So I had one client that wanted to do a promotion by vendor. So what we did is we just did an update statement and said, you know, write a value to description 3, i.e. the vendor's code or name, to everything that has a vendor code of XYZ. Boom, done. In the back end of Retail Pro and V9, I was able to write that mark to every item in the inventory list in a matter of a split second. And then we were able to use description 3 and say if it has this vendor name in it, boom, it qualifies for this promotion. That's kind of, I wanted to connect those dots. But anyway, you see what's going on there, exactly the same. So discount, you really got to manage these full fields. So discount includes, right? And discount applies to. From, to, quantities, discount type, percent, 20%, right? Combine or not, price level 1, discount reason, schedule, what's that? That is a, what is that? See, that's the thing I really bugs me about the V9 tool. I really like that form view in the V8 tool. It's a lot easier. There's a coupon field, there's a start and end date, right? All normal stuff. We've seen all this before. None of this is terribly overly exciting. All right, so let's back out of that. We looked at BOGOs already. Now pricing, I struggle with this particular promotion. It seems to be exactly like promos, except less powerful. So, I mean, maybe it's in there so you can do like one set of promos for pricing in this one, and then do discounts and stuff in the other one. But you see what I mean here in a second here. So we give it a name, we give it a priority, give it our subsidiary, right? Boom. We give it our stores. Anyways, we get into the item filter here. Start date, end date, price. Okay, price level. So there's no other option. It's just they will be this price in that start and end date range, right? That's all it's doing. Where the promos tool, as we saw before, had both price, discount, and amount. So I could take $5 off, or I could say it is this price. I could go either way, or I could use a discount percent to calculate the sale price. So in every respect, this seems to be exactly the same as promos, except it's little less powerful. It does give you another avenue if you want to break some of those promos off into their own little space or something, I guess. And then back over here, what do we have that I missed? We have the gift, right? So you can set up one here where we have a name up here. We have what stores it affects, select all, the amount, and then you have the gift, right? So we could check off something down here as being the gift, right? So if they buy $100, they get a free Nerf football. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like that's perfect for I've done a bunch of stadiums, and stadiums have like giveaway nights where if you buy $100 in the team store, you get a free mini bat or something, right? So that's exactly what this is right here. So, all right. So, any questions about any of that stuff? Anybody have some kind of promotion that they were trying to set up and/or it didn't work, and they'd like to set up? So we should also then probably talk about how we move these around, how we get them from point A to point B. In V8 now, so in V8 you can see right here it says send to remote. So I can just click this, and it says the move list.txt file has been created. Okay, so in both versions, it uses what's called a move list to accomplish this task of moving the promotion from the main store down to the remote stores. Okay, now in V9 we don't have a cool button like that. Okay, it doesn't say send to store here, right? It doesn't say that anywhere. So in V9, and the reason they didn't put it in V9 is because in V9, in polling, you actually have a move list button here, and you can go set up a move list. So you have to manually set the move list up in V9. In V8, you can just click a button and it writes it for you. And that is because to manually set up a move list in V8 is extremely obnoxious. It's really complicated, and nobody ever wants to do it. So they did it for you. They write the move list file for you. But basically in V8, there's this really, really specific syntax, which I will not go into because it's painful. And so you use this syntax to write a file, a text file called a movelist.txt. You place it in the broadcast folder next to the file you're trying to send, and then polling picks it up. It reads the move list file. It follows the instructions as to where you want it to put the thing in the move list, and it moves it to the other side of the store, right? In V9, you have to go into ECM, go into stations, click on move list, right? You have to say, hey, I want to do a new one of these. I'm going to say create a move list, yes. Then I'm going to say add at the top here, and I'm going to add a file. I could send a folder, but in this case, I'm going to add a file. And I'm going to browse into Retail Pro 9. And in Retail Pro 9, I find the RPro Prom folder. And in there is a MDB, right? So there's our database. So all the promotions that we create and squirrel away, right, they're in that database right there. So we click open, it drops that in there. And then of course, we're gonna wanna copy this and then put it in the target path. Now, most of the time in our installations, we're usually operating on an R drive. I'm on a C drive because this is a virtual machine. It's inside my laptop. That's not even a real piece of hardware. Most of the time, if we're copying from the R drive and we're wanting to write to the R drive, we would do that right there, right? We would make sure that we're in the right path. Now, if you have stores that are exceptions, you might have to make more than one of these rules. Like I have one station file down here, but I could have 17. I could have 100 down there. I could have 100 stores. And if I know that most of my stores are on the R drive, but I have one store that's an exception, I'm going to have to make an exception rule to send that to the D drive, right? So it's really critical that your target path be correct is what I'm trying to get to. Anyway, so at this point, then you would just click generate move list, and it's sitting there, boom, ready to go. So next time I pull, that would then be processed, sent to the remote store, and it would not be in the menu here anymore. So basically, in both situations, we create a move list that sends down the file that is managing these promotions and overwrites the file that's already there. Now, that being said, having a GUI move list here that you can go and build yourself and move things around is an extremely cool function. So for instance, I could have a folder on my C drive or on my network share, and I could put in there policies and procedures and you know, things that I want the store to have. I could move and I could keep it freshened by using Retail Pro's move list. Just a side thought there. So anyway, that's how you move these things around, both versions. That's really all I had on my agenda so far. Is there anything else, though, that anybody needs to ask questions about on this or another topic, possibly? Well, all right then. So if we don't have anything else, I guess I'm going to say thank you very much for attending our webinar today. Definitely, I guess in parting here, I would say test, test, test. When you create these things, test them and make sure that they are 100%. You don't want any unintended consequences when you send it down to the store or when you have the store start using it. And certainly in both versions, you can set up a testing machine. Now, if you're a V9 client, and yes, you have to be current on sales assurance or whatever, SA, you can request a lab license. So in V8, you can do what I did, right? You can just install a copy of Retail Pro as a demo. So this copy of Retail Pro I'm running here is not a licensed copy. It's a demo. And you saw it earlier when I went in, it said, hey, I'm going to reset your quantities. And it did, in fact, reset my quantities so that everything now in my list is at a quantity 10. That's what it does. That's what demos do. They reset you to 10. Makes it pretty much impossible to use Retail Pro as an inventory control system. But you can just take the regular V8 install. When it comes up on the screen, if you're on a PC, there's a standalone PC, and it says what type of install. You just say demo. It installs a demo file. Then you could copy your data over, and then you could hack around in V8 all day long, right? In V9, it's not quite so friendly, right? If we install a V9 copy, it's going to come up with no licensing, and it's going to give you 30 days to play around, and then it's going to shut down. Now, if you ask our sales rep for a lab license, they will request from Retail Pro a lab license on your behalf. Then they will send that lab license to you, and it will be just like a regular Retail Pro license, except it'll be in the 40,000 range. And then you can install that license on your testing machine and have a full functioning lab copy of Retail Pro for no additional money. So, and then of course, if you're going to be playing around with these, it's super nice to have a testing environment where you can really test these promotions and not put them accidentally in the live environment. So, all right, I think that's all. Wait a second, Kathy has a question. Oh yeah, all right, so, all right, perfect. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Kathy. And it looks like I appreciate you coming, and I appreciate you saying thank you like that. That's very, very nice of you. I guess I'm going to tell you guys thank you again for coming, and have a good one. And we will do this again soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.